Hey guys, it's Arthur. Welcome to day 2 of my Pride Month art collection, where every day, not every day, I will draw one or a few of my queer OCs basically. Today we're coming in strong with a 3-character total: Sasika, Amelia, and Comet. Now I'm not going to try to align my ramblings with the footage too much due to having 3 characters in here, so keep that in mind. We start off with Sasika, or just Sis. Sis is part Black Panther, obviously. She's a mostly carefree person who likes making friends with pretty much anybody. Even if someone is rude, she'll still try to be their friend. When she doesn't like someone, it's usually because they're a genuinely bad person. I won't say she's a completely innocent person. She is somewhat of an alcoholic, and she plays rough sometimes, but she means well. Most of her traits are pretty much that of a cat. She likes climbing things, has the incessant, nonsensical urge to knock things over, and likes sleeping in the most inconvenient spots. She will literally lay down in a doorway and pass out before you can even say no. She is also more nocturnal than not, and somehow she's extremely quiet when she wants to be. She is a character I made specifically for a friend's circus AU, and hasn't been used outside of that, but if I would ever want to, she would be pretty easy to move to something different due to her basic lore. She does a lot of traveling and ends up in the circus as a strongman. Oh, and her niece was brutally murdered by someone else in the circus, though she doesn't know they're the culprit. She tries to brush off the memories the best she can, but she gets triggered pretty easily. It was a very traumatizing sight that she came home to when she found out her niece was missing. I won't say the details so not to discomfort anyone, but it was pretty gory. There will be some content about that in the future, don't you worry. Next up we have Amelia. Similarly to Sis, she comes from a specific AU from a different friend, but unlike Sis, her lore would be harder to take out of context of the AU. Amelia is polite, but she doesn't trust easy. The only person she trusts at the moment is her own cousin. Still, she's a good person. A good person on the wrong side of history. The AU she comes from is basically a rebellion versus dictator AU, and she's on the side of the dictator. To put it simply, her parents and her baby brother were killed by my rebellion character, which is technically my persona, when she was a child, and so she absolutely hates the rebellion. In her eyes, it's choosing between two evils, and the rebellion is the larger of the two. She does really like the dictator in question though, so that doesn't help. Finally, we have Comet, a FNAF OC from a VR chat series called The Afterthought that's in the process of being made on my Shadow & Co channel. We just need her avatar made to get it back in gear. Anyways, this is actually the adult version of hers, since in the show we start out with her being 5 years old. She is the daughter of the protagonist, Eclipse, and has 2 brothers, Bloody, who's 7, and Lunar, who's 2. She's the favorite child, bossy, bratty, and a tad bit annoying, but she loves her family and can be fairly defensive of them when she wants to be. Though as she grows up, she calms down a bit, but never loses that sense of mischief, of course. It runs in the family. Oh, and I decided her skirts just get longer and longer as she ages, just for fun. I have to admit she isn't my favorite to draw. About a year ago when the show was in production, before we had to scrap pretty much everything we filmed due to various complications, I was regularly getting flooded with art of her from one person. And while I do enjoy my characters getting drawn, only receiving art of one character is very discouraging, especially with the reason behind it. Eventually that person stopped drawing anything of the show in general, and now it gives an almost bitter feeling whenever I draw Comet. Still, I love her. She's my little creation of chaos, along with her older brother. I can't take credit for her younger brother also being an agent of chaos, but I love him too. Out of these characters, I think the most fun to draw is Sis, even if it can be annoying at times. Amelia isn't very painful to draw, nor do I have some reason to not like drawing her. I just don't particularly like drawing her either. It's maybe in the future, when I've drawn her more often, I'll develop more of an opinion. Overall, I only really put these characters together because they were all lesbians with no partners, so far at least. Sis may or may not have one, but the person who I might have a ship with, and I haven't roleplayed in a while in that AU, so she might be forever single. If we put these characters together, I feel like Comet and Sis would definitely get along and be friends, but Comet would hate Amelia. Amelia and Comet are both bitter about tragic shit, and may be slightly defensive defensive and will just repeatedly piss each other off for that exact reason. If Sis spent enough time with Amelia, if she could break through to her and be friends eventually, none of these characters would be compatible romantically though. Except maybe Sis and Comet, but Sis is too old for her, so that still wouldn't happen. So, that will be all for today. Tune into the next Pride video for more ramblings about random characters.